Hello, this is Mr. Huff, and I'm going to go through some Excel skills that you will need to complete the assignment I'm giving you for activity 3.7. So this is just going to be a kind of a quick overview on using Excel a little bit to make some calculations, and I noticed I need to delete some things. So what we're going to start with is a series of data, and in the assignments I give you, I generally give you a set of numbers, or you will use measurements you've collected. But in this case, I've got centimeter measurements, and I've got 100 of them. On an Apple computer, if you do Command, Shift, and down arrow, it will let you select a region. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you right now. So right now I have selected everything from cell A1 to A101. So that's something that's useful. I'll show you how to use that in just a moment. So you're going to have to do some calculations and things. There's a slideshow you need to watch or look through about how to use Excel, but I'm going to do some basic things here. So let's say we want to do a conversion. We have these centimeter measurements, but we want it to be in meters. So I remember that there's 100 centimeters in 1 meter, so I can take the value I see in cell A2 and divide that by 100. So I'm going to put the formula equals A2 slash 100 and then hit enter, and it's going to convert that to meters. So it's 115 centimeters is 1.15 meters. Now I'm going to go back to that formula. I'm going to point at the bottom right corner, and you'll see that the crosshair turns to a dark cross. If I double click there, it will copy that formula with its cell reference all the way to the bottom. So if I double click, it went all the way down to the bottom. And if we go to the bottom of that cell, so if I go, wait, that's not what I want. It is control arrow. I go to cell B101. I can see it's gone all the way to the bottom. So I'm going back to the top at B1. And now we have our conversions made. Now we want to do the mean of this range. So the mean is average. So we're going to put in equals average, just type average, open a parenthesis. I'm going to use the arrow keys to go over here to select B2 and shift command down arrow, and I will capture all of those all the way to B101, close the parenthesis, hit enter, and you can see that it has the mean for that range. You could also type in B2 colon B101 and it would do the same thing. We're going to calculate the minimum equals min, and I'm going to go over min and open a parenthesis, go over here and choose B2 command shift down arrow, close the parenthesis. There you go. On a Windows computer it's control shift down arrow, not command shift. And so it tells us that our minimum distance is 0.77. Here's our maximum in that range. So again, I'm going to select from here to here and hit return. So now I have the max is 1.21. Notice my calculation using this set of data. So my range is going to be the max minus min. So I'm going to hit equals, choose the max number minus the min number, and now I have my range. Multi-mode is a little bit different in Excel, and I don't know if I have multiple modes in this, so let's find out. So I'm going to use, the first thing I have to do is select several cells like this. So I'm just holding down the shift key and the down arrow, choose about 6 or 7 cells, and we're going to put equal mode.mult, just like what we did on Google Sheets. I'm going to go select B2, select my region of data, close parenthesis, and instead of hitting enter, you do command or control shift and enter to enter an array formula. I'm pretty sure that's the same on an Apple. Control shift enter. If that doesn't work, it's command shift enter, but try that. And it should fill in all those boxes as an array. So if you click on each one, it will have added these braces at the beginning and end, and that is an array formula, and you can't really change that directly. There's only one mode in it, so it's telling you that it found a mode. So let's go add another one. I'm going to just go through here and say, what if we had some more 105 measurements? We're going to keep adding 105 until it adds another mode. And it should be doing that real time. There we go. Okay, so what I did is I added until we had multi-mode. You don't change your data, just report what it has. But right here you can see it gives me the two modes, and then it puts NA in the rest of the fields. That's what it would normally report if there were not multiple modes, or if there's multiple modes, this is what it looks like. If there's not a multiple mode, so if I undo that change that we just had, it fills all of those in with the mode, the single mode. So that's how you use multi-mode right there. So remember, you start by selecting several cells, put your formula in, and Control Shift Enter. All right, the next thing we need to do is define some bins. And in the assignment I'm giving you, they tell you the bins start at about 4.5 and they go to about 6.5, and that will cover your data. I can see that my data is going to go between 70 and more than 120, or 1.7, not 0.7, 0.7 to 1.2 or so. So I'm going to start with a 0.0 or 0.7 here, and I'm going to put equals this plus 0.15. I'm going to add 15 centimeters to my number, and I want to do this. I'm going to fill that down until I get to about 130. So what I'm doing is just taking this number, adding 0.15. This number add 0.15, this number add 0.15, this number add 0.15 until I get bins defined. They're all the same size, and they're going to cover my range of data. Okay. On a Windows machine, to turn on the analysis tool pack, you would go to File, go to Options, and then you would choose Add-ins and click Go and choose the analysis tool pack. And I already have it selected here. On an Apple, it'll be along the top edge up here. It will say Tools. Click on Tools, click Excel Add-ins, and then tell it you want to use the Data Analysis Tool Pack. And when you do that, you will see right here on Data, you'll see Data Analysis over here, or this little icon. And this will open the tool pack for you. So we're going to go ahead and do that. First thing we're going to do is make a histogram. So we're going to go down here and choose histogram. We're going to click OK. And it says input range. This is your data. So I'm going to go over here. I'm choosing meters and going all the way down to the bottom of that data, and then hitting the down arrow here. So I'm telling it everything in column B from 1 to 101. I did that as a selection. Next thing we need to do is tell it where the bin range is. So I'm going to choose this little arrow, going to highlight my bin and its ranges, click on the down arrow, and tell it there's labels in that data. Then we want to do this as a output to a specific range, and it's asking where do you want this to show up. So if I scroll down here a little bit below my multi-mode and all that kind of stuff, we're going to use that as our output range. So we're going to choose this arrow, and we're going to click over here, and that's going to tell it where to start writing data. Make sure there's nothing there to the right or down from there, because it's going to put information in there. We also have to tell it make a chart output. Okay, so your histogram selection should look like this. Your input range, this is your data, include the labels. Your bin range, include the labels, put that right there. Tell it you have labels. Your output range is where you're going to write the data to, and then tell it that you want to make a chart. Click OK, and there it produces this histogram. So it copies our bin range, and then it says I found 0 here, 3, 46, 47, 4, and 0. And so now we have this little histogram. You can go edit things by clicking the chart elements. I think on the Apple computer, you're editing your chart elements up here. But this is where you can add access titles and go change those kinds of things. All right, the last thing I need to show you is the summary statistics. So it's the same thing you did before. We're going to open Data Analysis Toolpack. We're going to click on Descriptive Stats, open that window. We're going to choose our input range. We're going to choose meters all the way down to the bottom. Okay, then we're going to scroll back up here, and we're going to go to the right of our data a little bit. I want to get past this. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Make sure you're out of that selection. We're going to put labels in the first row because we selected the word meters. We're going to choose the output range now, right here. We're going to go over here past our histogram chart because it's going to, again, you want to make sure to the right and down are clear. And then we're going to tell it we want to do summary statistics. So we've selected our data. We told it we had a label in our first row. We told it we were going to put it in cell O1, and it's summary stats, and you hit OK, and it makes this little table for you. Double click on the columns ahead on top, and it will give you all the numbers that it just calculated for you. In your assignment, you have to complete many more calculations here, and you have to compare these values to these values and produce a histogram just like this. I hope you find this helpful. Thank you. Goodbye.